Hi. Alright, so this video is not going to be popular with a lot of people, and I'm just going to be honest. And it's not that I've not been honest, I think, about this topic, but I feel like I've been led to believe that me being as honest as I usually am is irresponsible. I'll explain a bit more about that later. But as most of you know, I did recovery with no help. I didn't have professional help, and that's absolutely not something I regret. And it wasn't the time. Professional help would have been atrocious for me, especially when I recovered. The only professionals that I came across wanted to psychoanalyze me, and I just knew that would not work for me at all. And I didn't involve my family in my recovery, not until much, much later when I was pretty much fully recovered. I did recovery on my own, especially at the beginning. I lived on my own, and I went cold turkey on exercise on my own, and I holed up in my flat, and I ate a load of food. And I've been told before by eating disorder professionals, other eating disorder professionals, that me talking about that is irresponsible because it leads other people, other vulnerable people who could not possibly recover on their own, to think that that's how they should do it. And it sets this bar, like, if you want to fully recover, then you should completely recover on your own. And, I just began to think, well, first of all, the reason that I allowed that to stop me being quite as forthright about this topic as I really am about most things is because when people tell you that you're being irresponsible and you could be putting the lives of other people in recovery at risk, well, you listen. And so I don't blame myself at all for that. And I was also, until the last year or so, I was trying to be part more of the more mainstream recovery community. And it's only been the last year or so that I've just been like, I was going to conferences, I was presenting at conferences, I was doing all the good stuff, I was part of the boards and all that stuff. And it's only been the last year that I've just like, oh, fuck this shit, it really doesn't work. I was on the path of trying to change the way the eating disorder world works from the inside. And I did that for a good long while, and then last year I was just like, I'm done. It's not changing. I feel like I'm the token person that often comes and sits there among all of the psychologists, and it's like, oh, there's the token recovered person. Everybody sort of smiles and is nice, but everybody doesn't also really listen. So I stopped with all of that, and now I'm being, I guess I'm less intimidated because I don't really give a fuck what they think. So I did recover on my own, and part of that was because there was not adequate professional support had I wanted it. But the bigger part of that was actually my choice. I could have absolutely used family support. My parents would have loved that. They would have loved to help me, and I do regret not using family support, but not because I regret it because I think it would have helped me more. I regret it because I think it would have been lovely for my parents to be able to support me. I feel like they would have enjoyed that. I feel like that would have been healing for them. So in a sense, it was selfish of me to recover on my own and not involve them in my recovery. But that's the choice I made at the time. And if I look at why I made that choice, there could be a million reasons. But ultimately, I think it's all to do with the type of person I am. I do a lot of stuff on my own. I do a lot of things that people tell me that I should absolutely recruit the help of other people on my own. It's just my nature. I'm often better doing difficult things on my own. Started businesses on my own when everybody's like, you need to get a business partner. Bought my first flat on my own. People said, oh, you should wait until you've got a partner, or you should go and invest in with someone. No, do it on my own. One thing I do remember is when I took my driving test. And in England, the driving test is a big deal. It's really difficult. And I lived out in the sticks in the middle of nowhere. It's just driving was a big deal to me. And I wanted so badly to pass first time. And I studied so hard for it, and I practiced a lot for it. And when I did not tell a soul when the date of that test was, because I just prefer not to. And people are like, you're crazy, you should get someone to take you to the test centre and you should have support. And I'm just like, I just wanted to go on my own. And then afterwards, when I passed, I was able to be like, pass my driving driving test. And everyone's like, what? You took your driving test? But that's true. Like things like that, all important tests I've had to do in my life, I tend not to tell anybody that they're coming up. I just prefer to do those things alone. Anything that's difficult for me, especially something that means a lot to me, that's important, I'm going to keep stum about it. And I'm not going to tell you till it's over. Highly likely, most of the time. So that's just my nature. That's just the person that I am. If the more important that something is to me, the more I tend to just hold it to myself like a precious gemstone. And I don't know why I do that, but I do. And I guess for me, it's just like the things that are important to me are mine. And I don't want to share them. And maybe that's selfish, but that's what works for me. And so that's how I felt about my recovery. When I decided to do recovery, and that, by the way, is 99% of the hardest part done, actually making the decision to do recovery, I wanted it to be mine. I didn't want to involve anybody else. So yeah, maybe that was a bit selfish. Could have involved my parents and they would have enjoyed that, but I didn't want to. I wanted it to be my thing, mine only. And that's just how I work. And so I want to take away the shoulds around recovery. And I want to take away this idea that recovering on your own is something that should be avoided. And is something that people only recover on their own if they have no choice. A lot of people have no choice. A lot of people want support. And for whatever reason, they can't get it. They want some professional support. They need professional support. And they can't get it because they can't afford it or there's not adequate professional in their region. They want loving family support and it's not available to them. So a lot of people want support and it's not there as an option. But that's not what I'm talking about today. Today I'm talking about actually understanding that for some people, recovering alone is a choice. And for some people, it's the best option. And I know that if you're not a person who does stuff on their own, does difficult stuff on their own, you probably won't understand that. You'd be like, well, because I couldn't possibly have done it on my own. But that's you, and we're all different. And for someone like me, actually recovering on my own was the best option for me. I know that about myself. And so I don't think it's irresponsible to admit that truth. I actually think that for some people, that might help them understand a little bit more about why they struggle with the support that they have. What I don't want to happen, and this is totally up to you, is you can't use this as an excuse. Because say if you decide, right, I'm going to recover on my own, you are responsible for recovering. And that means that if it's not working, and you know what I mean by not working, if you're stagnant, if you're not making the changes that you need to make and you know what they are, it's not working. And if it's not working, you have to change it. And that might mean that you have to choose to ask for help, even when that's not your first choice. But if it wasn't working, you doing it on your own, then it wasn't working. And ultimately, the best path in recovery is the one that works. And sometimes the one that works isn't the one that we want. But you just got to take it as it comes. You've got to try things and you've got to pivot. If shit's not working, you've got to pivot. Because every second that ticks by that you are not better is a second that you won't get back. This is your life. You only get one time. And so don't waste your time being stagnant and stubborn and being like, well, I want to recover on my own, but the fact that I'm actually not recovering is beside the point. I'm just going to keep doing it on my own. Because that's not recovery, is it? Recovery is about a lot of change. And you have to be responsible for your recovery. And that means that you have to, if change is not happening, you've got to try something different. But so with that big caveat there, that recovery has to be actually working, it has to actually be happening, I just want to put it out there that for some people, recovering on their own is actually an option. And it's an option that should be respected rather than always been frowned upon, or people like me being told that's irresponsible to even put that out there and say that it's a thing. Because I just think that actually people with eating disorders are so often treated like they're stupid. If you're watching this and going, well, Tabitha just gave me an excuse not to even talk to my therapist or recover, that's on you. It really is on you. If that's how you're going to interpret that, then that's not my fault. How you interpret things and how you allow your eating disorder to twist things and how you allow yourself to continue not to recover, that's on you. I'm just going to say what's true for me. And what's true for me is that actually recovering on my own was the best option for me. And I believe that there are other people out there that recovering on their own is the best option for them. And that's where they're going to actually thrive. And that's where they're going to actually feel this is my thing and fuck everyone else, I'm going to do it. And that's the best place for them. And there are plenty and plenty and plenty of people in recovery listening to this right now that know that recovering on their own is not the best option for them. And that actually talking to a therapist or using family support is the best option for them. And I know that those of you that know that, and you know that I'm not talking about you, don't you? So let's not underestimate how intelligent people with eating disorders are. They can handle the truth. And the truth is that we're all very different. And the truth is that different things work for different people. So let's not put the shoulds out there and tell people how they should recover and that they should use help and they should do this. The only thing that should be happening is getting better. That's the only should. How you do that, I don't even care. I have no judgment about whether you recover on your own, or whether you recover in treatment, or whether you recover with family support. I just don't care. I just want you to recover. And I want you to understand that it's your recovery. So you get to choose what's going to work for you. Bye.